Hello, my name is Dr. Edward Iotte. You can call me Ed. I'm a senior adjunct physics professor at University College Collegiate, and I'm a flat earther. Usually the term flat earther is associated with someone who isn't scientifically literate or a particularly critical thinker. So I wanted to make this video as a demonstration that we actually know what we're talking about. You can be a scientist and believe the earth is flat. We do exist. And I bet there's more of us out there than you might realize. I'd actually argue that most physicists are flat earthers in hiding. And the evidence for this is in how we teach our students. Regardless of the topic that you're teaching, you should always lead with what's most important. What should the primary takeaways of the course be? And that's exactly what we do for our first-year physics students. We introduce them to motion in a flat, two-dimensional plane. When they're solving projectile motion problems, there's no reference to the curvature of the earth because it's obviously not needed. Okay, but with education, you shouldn't just be force-feeding your students answers all the time. No one learns that way. They have to learn how to distinguish between what's fact and what's fiction, which is why later on in the semester, I introduced them to Newton's law of gravity to see, as a first test, who can smell the BS. So when I have students coming up to me afterwards saying, I really don't understand Newton's laws, this makes no sense to me, that's how I know I'm doing a good job, because it shouldn't make sense, right? It's not right. Gravity isn't real. What we call this acceleration due to gravity, really the earth is just moving up at 9.81 meters per second squared. So physically flat earth makes sense, but also psychologically, why would you want your scientists to believe in something like gravity that literally just holds you back? But in any case, being an academic, I'm challenged on my viewpoints quite regularly. I'll get things like, hey Ed, flat earth physics doesn't account for tidal effects and geodesic deviation predicted by Einstein's theory of general relativity. Okay, first of all, there's not a single video out there of Einstein saying he's not a flat earther. Okay, so there's contradictions there already. Second, point me to a single thing that's perfect. One of the most precise measurements ever of the fine structure constant is known to something like 12 decimals. Why not a million decimals? Why not infinitely many decimals? Why aren't people upset with that not being a perfect measurement? So the thing that I'm getting at is that things are always going to be a little off, and that's okay, and you should just stop questioning it. But nevertheless, discounting flat earth physics because a couple of its predictions don't agree with the experiment, I find that to be very globular normative and disgusting, if I'm being honest. Rather than observe nature and construct a framework that adheres to her rules, I think an equally valid approach is to say, this is what I want nature to be, and then go from there, right? God forbid you actually use your imagination. But I actually found a lot of inspiration for how I conduct my research from my wife, who goes on these morning jogs every morning, and she'll walk outside and walk right past the full trash can and won't take the trash out with her. And I'd ask her, why didn't you take the trash out with you? And she'd go, I didn't see it. And at first I wanted to be really mad. But then I realized she's just being a scientist. She's onto something here. I didn't see it. And that's what led me into inventing this new method of critiquing science that I call the says you approach. So if someone says, how can you be a flat earther? Here are these videos and photographs of Earth from space showing that it's round. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. And this is just starting to really gain traction in comment threads on Facebook. And so it's really cool to see it catching on now. At this point, I think I'm just rambling, but I wanted to make this video because I am no one special. I am one Ed Iotte in a world full of them. But if what I had to say just made sense to one person out there, then, you might just be the biggest Ed Iotte of us all. So it's something to think about. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.